Thousands in Iran over the weekend taking the streets of Tehran, chanting "Down with the USA." They were there, the demonstrations held, to mark 28 years since student militants took over the U.S. Embassy in Tehran. 52 Americans held there for 444 days, and that growing tension with Iran clearly emerging now as an issue for Democrats in the presidential race for the White House. But have any of the Democrats or any of them outlined a clear stand on how to deal with this rogue nation? We're going to talk about that today with Tammy Bruce, syndicated radio host and a Fox News political analyst, and Bob Beckel, Democratic strategist and a Fox News contributor. Good morning to both of you. On the Democratic side,
Hi,
Bob,
guys.
You start this week now. Is this an issue that can sink a campaign?
Well, yeah, it's going to figure in the campaign, but let's remember the Democrats are talking more about diplomacy than they are about going to war. But they're talking to constituents and voters in Iowa and New Hampshire who, like most of America, I might add, the last thing they want to do is get into another war. As opposed to the Republicans who keep rattling the saber. You got Rudy Giuliani, the most incompetent candidate for president since Herbert Hoover, talking about going to war. And the American people don't want to go to war. So I think the Democrats are probably better positioned by far than the Republicans.
Wow. Tammy, is that the case, do you believe? Democrats better positioned than Republicans?
Well, if the position you like is the Lewinsky position, yeah, I guess so. Bill Clinton was telling a bunch of people in Utah.
The what?
The Lewinsky position. Bill Clinton was telling a bunch of people in Utah that his wife was going to restore America's position with the world. And we know what that was for 8 years and what it got us. It got us September 11th. Listen, Americans don't want to go to war. Nobody does. But this has not been our choice. This is not the only way that you stop a war that we're engaged in is surrender. You don't do it unilaterally. This is a dynamic that was brought to us that we've got to deal with. And one way or another, we're going to have to deal with it. It's either going to be after the mushroom cloud is over Jerusalem, or it's going to be on our terms, and we're going to stop a nation like
Bob's
that.
mouth is sitting agape ever since the mention of the,
Hey, we know what the Clinton policy was for 8 years.
Wait a second.
Defend
you to
yourself,
suggest
Bob.
on our knees in front of the rest of the world. That's the way the world
on your
wants
knees.
us.
Listen, for you to suggest that Bill Clinton was responsible for 9/11 when it was George Bush who got the briefing papers is absolutely over the line. And I'll
He was
tell
in
you
office
something.
200 days after
You're a
Bill
big
Clinton was 8
Giuliani
years.
supporter. You're a big Giuliani supporter who did absolutely
I am.
nothing to protect his city. And I will tell you this about him. This
So
guy,
now it's Giuliani's fault. That's genius.
Well, Giuliani is Giuliani. I mean, the whole idea of Rudy Giuliani as president is just about as absurd as my mother-in-law being. Well, I'm divorced now, but I mean, the point is that the Republicans are rattling a saber here.
Where
the American
is this
people
thing
aren't with
going?
How did Bob's mother-in-law
How's your mother-in-law get involved in this?
Because she would
keep in mind
I know
out
it's
of it.
candidate to Giuliani. That's why. Tammy loves Giuliani for some strange reason. I mean, how can you love somebody that incompetent? I don't get it.
Tammy, you got 10 seconds. Keep in mind, it is cable.
Yes, no, I understand.
It is
Listen,
cable.
the truth of the matter, the
respectful.
truth of the matter is, we had a mayor of a city who, frankly, couldn't have known, and a president who stood by for 8 years when Bin Laden had declared war on us and did nothing. That's the difference. Now, so we have a Clinton history and we have a Giuliani history. I think Americans would prefer Giuliani history that at least indicates that he knows how to run a city and run a business and run a country.
Tammy, thanks.
People want to go back to.
I'll give you more time next time.
The
They're gonna kill me
Lewinsky
back in
factor.
that control
Lewinsky,
room.
this.
There you go.
I mean, come on.
See ya. Happy Monday.